Hey, welcome back to MVP Hot Wheels. This is Diesel Mac, and I was putting in the pictures for the P-911's Super Chromes Redline variation, and I had a couple of them, and I was kind of going through and doing the description stuff for the website, and realized that one of them, the base is completely flipped. So I put that on one of the Porsche Facebook pages, and questions were kind of brought up of which ones that I had, since I have 5 different ones here. I think I have 5 different ones, and I say that because it's really tough to discern sometimes if one is unpainted or chromed. Obviously the chroming, you can see these 3 here are definitely chromed, but these 2 here, both of them look like they were never painted or never chromed, I guess. So there's some, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. There's some shiny spots on there, but the metal can kind of, if it's cleaned up a little bit, it can kind of give that sheen to it. But anyway, so here's the 5 that I have found. There's one more that I found on eBay that could be also unpainted, that has a base variation, which is what most of these are, with the exception of the far left one here. So let's go through and look at the 5 variations that I have. First off, these are all red lines, right? So if you got the red and green design on the top here with the 911 there, you're going to get red lines with it. Whereas back here, when they switch that color or the tempo up to the yellow, orange, and red, there's obviously a red line there, and then the black walled version as well. So I need to add those pictures to the website, which is why I have them pulled out. And then I say this is early casting, but it's got the kind of the more common base. This one has the Porsche casted in the back of it, which is fairly rare for this particular vehicle. So kind of crazy. And then here you can see where there's not any chrome on here that I can see, or that I've noticed. I try to look through the pictures that I've taken. There's some shiny spots, so you can kind of see some shiny spots there, but that doesn't look like anything's really chromed on that fender. It just looks like it's regular kind of metal. Like if you were to look at this one, right, look at that difference compared to everything, and it's all over that way, right? Like this one, there's not really any area that looks as chromed as this one does. This is a pretty nice one here. So right now I have this as unpainted or Zamac on the website, subject to change if something were to come up. Even the tampos, right? You would put these tampos on over the chroming process, and look at the chrome, or look at the tampos. Look how they're a little bit more bright. That could just be from wear, right? Some people handling it, putting their fingers on it. So, like I said, I'm not discounting that this could have come out chrome, but it's the way it sits right now. It definitely looks like it is unpainted. But anyways, like I said, this is the variation with the Porsche casted in the back. And here we have the Hot Wheels. Like I said, this is the very, I won't say very, but this is the common base where there's no bars on here. And you're going to see some of those variations on these other ones. So P-911's on here, like the first early ones with the yellow ones here. This has the Porsche Carrera, right? So now they call it just the P-911. So you'll see a bar for having the Carrera crossed off, or a bar over the Carrera. So then you put the P-911. You can see here it's patented US and Canada. Before then it was, patents pending and all that kind of stuff. And we'll show you that stuff as well. But here is that first variation here. The next one, again, looking very much like it was never painted, is the same as that other one, except for the back of this does not have that Porsche casting on it. There's one thing with this one that I will say gives me the most hesitation with it. If you look back here, you can kind of see this little, almost looks like a chip in the middle here. So I don't know if that's just part of the metal that has an issue. Excuse me. Or if that was where it was some chroming and a piece of the chroming kind of came off. So that's why this one is definitely up in the air for having been chrome, but it is, it's all over. Even the lightly colored or the not as bright tampos and stuff, but again, it's got some wear to it, right? Evidence of the wheels, right, of being used, right? So, I mean, this could have been played with and all of the chrome has come off of it, but in some of these areas that are kind of hard to, get the chrome off of it, like on the headlights here, they're not chromed. So, you can't get your finger in there very well or something else in there. But so I have those two as unpainted for right now, and subject to change in the future. Now, if we move to this one's in really good shape, and you can see this is clearly chromed. Here, the pictures that are on the website don't come out as nice, especially like from this angle here. You can see where it's got that little pitting back there, but in person, this still looks really well. Has the same base. This doesn't have the Porsche casted in the back of it, and so this is the chrome version of the one I just pulled up that we had before. And this seems to be the most common variation of it, which is probably why this is my nicest one, because it's a little bit cheaper than the rest of these. This one, obviously chrome, still got some play wear, and that's where I guess the hesitation kind of comes from on some of this, right? This has some play wear, and you'll see this one even next has some play wear too, but the difference in these, definitely one looks chrome and one looks unpainted. This is a base variation. So here's what I was talking about, where Porsche Carrera has been covered up with a bar and put the P-911 on there. You can see here where this bar here is where the US patent was on there, and then this one now says patented US and Canada. So that's the variation for this one. A little bit tougher variation than that, than the regular base variation. When I was doing some research on this, these don't come up very often, but they are available. I think there's a couple on eBay in various conditions. And then we have this one, which is the reason I made the post on Facebook in the first place, because this base is on backwards, right? So if you look at these two, right, you got them turned the same direction. You can see here where the back, and this is like the little gas tank back here, right, is flipped, and the whole base is flipped up. And you can see the front wheel is probably just a little bit closer than normal. It sits up a little bit higher because it's not sitting inside the front of this like it would normally in the back, and same thing kind of in the back. It's just a little bit different on the body. But this is one of the tougher variations with this base I found. So I have it in there right now as a placeholder. And if somebody has that base variation in about the same condition, I'd be okay with that. I would trade you if you want some cool talking piece error, so that I can have the right piece for the website and you can have a fun error from the 70s. There was another guy that posted another car, another Porsche, where they had the same thing where the base was flipped. So it could happen. Looks like it's kind of happened a couple of times. So you may have one and not notice it. I didn't notice it until I was doing, the research and really going into and being descriptive about how I was putting this information on the website. And I was like looking at this, and I went to flip the car the same way I flipped the other ones, and it was upside down. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then it took me a second to realize that it was completely flipped over, or turned around and on backwards, basically. So, but those are the 5 variations that I have found. I have also found on eBay one that looks like it's unpainted with this base variation. So that could be a 6th variation if all that deems to be true. So that's where I'm at with 5, is the 2 unpainted, and these 3 are chromed. And like I said, this one's been played with, but the chrome, and despite this pitting on the door and all that kind of stuff, still shows up in a lot of the areas for it, despite having some of the play wear with it. So those are the 5 variations. I brought these out. Like I said, I gotta get pictures of this one for the website. So this was the release after that. This is obviously the red line version of it. And then you have the black wall. So I'm gonna update the picture of those while I have it out. Here is The first release, the yellow, this one has the capped wheels in the front and your regular red lines in the back. And then you can see here it's got the Porsche Carrera name. So lots of different things on this. This one does have the Porsche casted in the back as well. There's 12 variations of this. This is the only one that I have. So I got a lot of cars to work on for that. And then there's a Herpes, which I made into a different number on the MVP Hot Wheels website. So it's number 2. And then of course that white one I don't have with the same Tampo, which is an alternate color and extremely rare. So I don't have that one obviously. And then I just put this one on the website and then posted pictures of it. I was going to update the pictures of this one because it was right next to it, but this one has kid paint on the rear here and the headlights. So I need to find another all black one. This one's not super tough, so it shouldn't be too hard to get. But if you look at my current picture on the website, you'll see that it shows that gray in there and that didn't come with it. So I'll have to find another one to put the right representation of that vehicle up there on there. So anyways, there are what I have discovered for these super chrome Porsches with the red and green Tampo. Obviously I have my Zinder Fact 4s here ready to kind of do a video with them. That's why they were already on the table, so I'm kind of off to the side here. But I'll be making a video of the Zinder Fact 4s here next. But if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Like I said, these could be chromed. I don't think this one is, like, I've really looked over this one. This one, obviously that back piece could be a telltale, but you know how the metal and on these cars are not perfect, so it could just be some of that as well. But these are definitely chromed, which is the normal way of kind of putting it out there. I can't remember where I got this one. All 4 of these other ones I got from one person, reputable buyer and Porsche collector. So I'm not worried about those too much, but this one I probably got from eBay or something like that quite a few years ago. And it's, so it's not like I, knew who I was getting it from, I don't think. But it could be a chrome variation and we're back down to 4. But then this one, like I said, I found one on eBay. It looks like it is unpainted as well. And realistically, if these went unchromed, it's tough to tell, right? As they're kind of probably going past you on the assembly line, or they wouldn't care, right? You got a worker there, it's like whatever, close enough, send it out. But you're talking about, this in the 70s. So I can imagine, especially if made in Malaysia plant, right? Who knows how much they were really, dedicated to make sure that the product was going out well, which we know, obviously, with this one being the base being on backwards, it slips, that stuff slips through. So anyhow, those are the ones I found. Like I said, throw any of your comments down below. I'll try to address them as best I can. If it requires another video, I'll make another video to kind of go over it. Or I'll even, if it gets really crazy, I'll go live and we can have a discussion about it through that way as well. So, but appreciate everybody watching. If you like the information you're receiving, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, thanks.